Well, hello, Grace Church. I have been looking forward to today for such a very long time. I don't know about you, Matt, but
Absolutely.
This is a banner day for me. It's Monday before we get to regather the congregation.
Yes.
At least a few people.
Yes.
Having
It's a start.
It's a start. We're having a test drive this coming Sunday, and it's time to talk about regathering the congregation. Now, before I do, let me take a moment and say that I understand completely that not everyone is at the same place when we speak of the condition of their health.
Right.
We know that. Some people due to age, some people due to underlying health conditions and other considerations, you're not going to be able to come back just yet to the congregation. Now, I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I understand that, and we wish you will stay home and stay safe and don't put yourself in any danger. And we mean that with all of our heart. But please do this. Continue to worship with us fully on live stream, because we're not about to shut that off. In fact, Table Talk's going to keep going and several other things. But do tune in at the 9:30 hour, because each week we're going to be coming on at 9:30. And let me just say this with all sincerity. Matt, I know we've talked about this several times, but
Right.
We're not measuring anybody's spirituality or their level of love for God or His church on the basis of how quick you get back to the congregation
Right.
and get to the church campus. And I mean that with all of my heart.
Yeah.
We want you to take care of yourself, be responsible, use your discernment and judgment that the Lord gives you. But we are here, and we do need to get started, and we're getting started this Sunday. So we are going to be observing protocols such as distancing and no contact policy among us. We're not going to be handing out any materials like we
Right.
usually do.
Just limiting contact in a lot of ways.
That's right. There's no bulletins. There's not going to be any of the offering envelopes in the pews.
Already gone now. Yeah.
Matter of fact, as you look around, they are gone. So
Yeah.
we're taking care of as much as we can to limit any contamination or cross contamination from this COVID-19. So let me take a moment and give you some clear but a minimum amount of information today to help the test drive group. Now, this Sunday we intend on learning a lot from what we do with this group of up to 200 it might be.
Yep.
But we're going to try to do that this week, and we're going to learn so that we can then tell you what to expect before the 14th. So here's what we can say today to the test drive and even to the people beyond that, and that's this. We need to lower our expectations a little bit. It's just not going to be business as usual and, going and hugging Harry and, hugging Sue and those kind of things. We just can't do that. We're not going to be able to have our chat room and coffee spot. I know coffee's a big deal for you, so
Yes.
we're not going to be able to have that for a little while.
That's what I'm most upset about at this point.
That's the thing you're going to miss the most.
in
Not the
fact.
people, just the
In
coffee.
fact, yes.
So we have to do something else. We've got to limit the service time in order to allow time to move people in and out and to clean between the services. We have to also really try to put in place this protocol of a no contact policy, no high fives, no hugs, no handshakes. And let me just say a word about that. You may, in your own heart, think, well, that's just a bunch of baloney, and I'm fine, and I'm just going to hug brother so-and-so. Listen, you can't assume that the other person is at the same place that you are and that their opinion is the same. So let's respect one another, and let's just hold off. It'll come back soon enough, but let's hold off on all of those physical contact things. Next, expect things to be different. We wish that it was going to be just business as usual and come and go as you will, but it's going to be a little different, and I have to say it's going to be a little inconvenient because we're going to have to give some directions. And so you need to expect this. You need to expect that ushers at Grace Church become very key ministry officials here at the church over the next few weeks and even months at church, because they're going to help us, and Pastor Matt's going to tell us a little bit about that.
Right. One of the things that's going to be different is how we enter the auditorium, and we're going to try to do this as responsibly and as wisely as we can. Now, it is absolutely the case that you typically know where you sit on a Sunday, and Pastor Phil knows where most of you sit.
That's right. I know where you sit.
He sees it and he's watching. Now, as much as we would like for those things to stay the same,
right,
we can, with a great deal of possibility, ensure that you will most likely be seated in a different location in the auditorium.
So between the two of us, I'm going to be where I always am, up there at the pulpit.
Yep.
It's too bad for them. They can't be where they always are. Okay, I got that.
Yes. So that's just an expectation, a very clear one that we want you to have. And our ushers, who are going to be hearing from me soon, will be prepared to make the seating inside the auditorium as comfortable and as easy as possible as they direct us to our seats.
Always with the social distancing in mind.
That's really the key factor here.
Right.
Yep.
Well, very good. So,
you
Matt,
want to address some other.
Yeah, that's right. I want to talk about one more thing. Pastor Matt's been working, and I'll just say he's got a team of 6. Kirby and some others, some ladies are on this team, and they have spent countless hours hammering this out over the last few weeks. And even with all of that, today we had a meeting, and there were more questions. So this is a learning process.
Yes.
Folks, I've been to seminary. I've got advanced degrees, and there's no classes in any seminary on how to handle a pandemic. Yeah. And so we're learning as we go, and we're going to learn some more this week. But this is what we know at this point, and we're communicating to you. Let me switch gears and talk about something altogether different. As you know, last Monday there was a terrible event that happened up in Minnesota. It was a travesty, a tragedy. A man's life was snuffed out unnecessarily. There's no other way to say, but it was just murder. Well, that spark has created an unrest in our nation. The unrest has led to protests have led to riots, and there's a lot of bad things that are going on right now, and many of us are seeing things happen in our country on a level and to an extent, including 41 states as of this morning, I've never seen in my lifetime. Yeah. And so we need to be doing something about this, and here's what we can do. We can remember that this is not a battle we're going to win physically. This is not a battle we're going to win with flesh and blood. This is a battle that's going to be won spiritually. I wrote a letter to the whole church today. It was an email. If you haven't checked your email yet, please go and read the email, because I've asked you to join me in a time of prayer and fasting. This Wednesday, I'm asking that you would skip a meal or 2 or 3 if you can. You do what your physical condition will allow you to do. But I'm asking that you take what time you would be eating and dedicate it to the Lord, and go to the Lord and ask Him for some specific things. Go read the email and catch up on that. And we know that God hears the prayers of His people, and we need to pray for some specific things. They're all enumerated in that email. Thank you for being Grace Church. Thank you for being the kind of church that has stuck with us through this very difficult time. We've all been paid, haven't we, Matt? We've been able to enjoy our salary, been able to pay our own bills because you have been faithful.
Incredibly grateful.
And our missionaries around the world are thrilled. I even sent out a missionary letter last week actually, that you should have by now. It's called COVID-19 Relief 2020. And we're going to try to help the believers in Christ around the world. So folks, these are unprecedented times, but these are also unimaginable opportunities. Yeah. Because when people are hurting physically, sometimes they listen to the spiritual message. And we want to give it out boldly, kindly, but faithfully during this time. Thank you, dear Grace Church, for listening today. And for those of you in the test drive, we will see you on Sunday. Don't be late. Try to be here on time at 9:30. God bless you, and have a wonderful day.